Good idea.
So, wiki user President Smith asks, how hard was it to keep such a big secret of Henry turning to Vecna from others when you were, had found out for yourself?
I've got a nice, small, close circle of friends that significantly dwindles during that time anyway. The hardest thing was not telling my mum. I love my mother, but she's very nosy. And she's got a bit of a mouth on her as well.
Yeah.
She lives in a small village in England, and you can imagine what that's like. Word gets out pretty quickly. So she's asking me all these questions. I'm like, I genuinely cannot tell you anything other than I'm in the show. And she's like, well, you will be in it, right? And I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm in the fucking show.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I haven't made this up.
Right.
So it was tough. It was hard, but I think that the show, like I said, it means so much to me. I knew the importance of this character, and I had to do that justice and do what I was told.
So when you were cast then, you couldn't even say anything about who you were playing, not even the Henry Crewlin at all?
Oh no, so we had a fake name for him, which was Peter Ballard. So when I was announced as Peter Ballard, who was a caring man who works in the Institute where Eleven is.
Yes.
So even after the show came out, everyone was like, oh, Peter Ballard. I'm like, that's not his name. It's Henry. So yeah, that's basically, I just sort of said that for like 18 months. It's like, Peter Ballard, nice man.
Yeah, very nice man. Yeah, this is all kind of coming back to me. I feel like maybe that name was on IMDb at some point.
That's right.
So I actually had a chance to chat with the fabulous makeup artist who created Vecna, Barry Gower, and he was telling me that some of the footage that ended up in the show, they filmed when, the kids had the reaction to seeing Vecna for the first time, and he thinks that some of that actually ended up being what was used in the final cut of the show. Can you talk a little bit about that moment when Vecna was revealed to your fellow castmates?
Yes, I can talk extensively about that. There was a time where Millie had not seen Vecna, and
I was going to say, I believe it was Millie specifically.
Yeah, she burst into tears, bless her. She started to cry. And we'd obviously worked together and done a bunch of stuff. And so for her to trust me and love me and then see me as Vecna was really scary for her. So yes, we did the rehearsal, she started to cry, and then somebody said, put the camera on Millie immediately. And that's what you see. What you see is what you get.
Did you have any other big reactions from cast members when they saw it?
I think everybody just was like, there was like a collective gasp, a holy shit. I remember Gaten being kind of weirded out by it. Yeah, everyone was a bit freaked out.
Yeah.
I'm a slimy, slippery dude.
It is very slimy and slippery. Yeah, because I believe that, it's something like 90% practical.
Yeah, it's 90% practical.
But did they cover you in some sort of substance to like make you all lose you?
Yes, KY Lube. We cleared CVS out of theatre. Couldn't find it in Georgia for love nor money.
Costco and get just like the Costco size vat of it and just
sexy.
Very sexy, slippery Vecna. But yeah, so when you were cast as Creel, you knew for sure that you were going to be able to also play the role of Vecna, because it's not always necessarily 100% consistent that the person who plays the kind of human version also plays the creature version. Had you done much like creature work before?
Never. I've never done any creature work before. I actually, the role of Vecna was the thing that I knew about first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I didn't know much about Henry, and yeah, I've never done creature makeup before. Matt and Ross were like, when I went to go meet them after I'd done my audition, they were like, are you comfortable to sit in makeup for hours?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, yes, I'm happy to be here. Yes, yes. Well, yes, show me the contract now. So no, I'd never done it before. But I'd worked with Duncan Jarman, who was working with Barry. When I was very fortunate enough to be a small part in Harry Potter, I went in and had a prosthetic done, a mold done, because they took a lot of head casts of everyone,
yes,
and Duncan was part of that, and I think Nick, who also was on that production, worked on another movie I'd done. So I knew the guys, like I knew a few of the guys who were working on it, but yeah, I've never done anything as a extensive as that before.
And did you have to do a full body cast for that one?
Yeah, and it was during the time that I was losing loads of weight to play Henry and Vecna. So like, I would look at the mold and I'd be like, that little pot belly, that's gonna go.
Yeah, you could just kind of shave that off
Yeah.
before you start building up around that.
Yeah, not that that didn't stop people from saying he looks like the fucking Grinch. I've seen those memes, if you're out there, bastards.
Yeah, I think people always will equate any sort of lengthy makeup process to Jim Carrey, the Grinch, because he was so vocal about the length of time that it took. And I assume that, what did it take, like 8 hours to apply that makeup?
Yeah, on average it was about 7 to 8 hours.
Yeah, and you would just film for as long as you could possibly stand, right?
Yeah, well, I'd still do a full day, so I do about 10 hours of filming.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's an hour to take off as well, so it's a long time.
Yeah, it's a lot of time to be a big oozing creature of the upside down.
A big sloppy mess.
So obviously, like, Vecna is a character that has existed within the Dungeons and Dragons pantheon for so long. Were you familiar with sort of the concept of Vecna?
No, I'll be perfectly
Yeah.
honest with you. I wasn't. My D&D lore is minimal. Forgive me, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong place. I'm saying that. I'll go. But I will tell you this. Obviously, when I got the job, I dug into it. Read more about it. Obviously, the kids are obviously, wildly into D&D in the show, so it was important that I did that. But the weirdest thing that happened was the week I got cast, I was living just down the street here, it was on East First, and I was walking down the street and I saw a guy wearing a D&D Vecna t-shirt. And it's the only time I've ever seen that. I've never seen it since. So yes, that was pretty spooky. But obviously I know about him now. And
Yeah,
I did my research.
Dungeons and Dragons, I really do think that part of what really made it pop off is, the use of it within the show Stranger Things, in addition to all of the sort of, live play shows and things that they have out there now. It's very much in the cultural zeitgeist, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I think that comes from Matt and Ross, they love D&D, and I think one of the greatest things about the whole show is the fact that it's got so much of lots of things that I think many of us love, so many fantastic references, particularly in the last season, Freddy Krueger obviously being one.
Oh yes.
Hellraiser being another. There's loads in there. So I think it's just Matt and Ross injecting all of their own love into the show, and that translates for all of us.
Well, and I don't know if this is more of a Matt and Ross question or a you question, but this also comes from the Stranger Things wiki. User The Great Gamester says, the orderly version of Henry told Eleven that the other children were planning to kill her and that Dr. Brenner was allowing it or even wanting it to happen. They wonder, was that made up on Henry's part, or was there some truth in that statement?
Well, I think that's an interesting question. I think, given what we see in season 4, the character 2 is clearly very jealous of Eleven's power, and he seems to be a violent chap. So I would assume that yes, the other children were planning to get rid of her. I think it's also partly to do with Henry's backstory and Henry's kind of view on the world, which is the world is a dangerous place, and rightly so. So yeah, I never felt like that was an untruth. I always felt like that had some sort of modicum of reality. Yeah.
So would you say then that there is a part of Henry that does have some caring for Elle almost?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. He sees so much of himself in her. And also, I mean, he says it in episode 7 where he says, soon others were born, you were born, and I'm so glad you were. The way I read into that is they're related, and so I think he definitely wants to create a better world for the two of them. That's how I looked at it.
Well, the world, I would say, isn't necessarily super welcoming right off the bat of, weird tentacle upside down monsters, but you've played as I say, Vecna, a weird tentacle upside down monster, and then also you've played a vampire before. Are there any other sort of fictional creatures that you'd like to add to your resume?
So the creature from the deep. Bogman. Wow, that's a good question. Other fictional sort of monsters. Maybe a werewolf, maybe a zombie.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe nothing. Maybe not a creature from the deep or Bogman. I've already done slimy. Maybe something less slimy.
You've already done slimy, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
maybe something less slimy.
Something a bit drier.
Yeah, something a bit drier. Yeah, less KY, please.
less KY. So you are quite musical, and you've been working on your solo career. What sort of brought you back? Because obviously, like, music's been part of your career for a long time, and like, what made you come back around? Would you say that that's like where sort of your first love in terms of artistry is?
Oh gosh, no.
No.
My first love in artistry is art. And
Well,
it's
oh.
art itself, just art,
Yeah.
art in general. What brought me back? Interesting. A desire to fully further uncover the truth, to be connected to the world, to be honest, and to not get bored. No, that's a joke. To have a pastime. I don't know what brought me back. The pandemic, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. I mean, I've always made music, I've
Right.
always made art, and I have now got to a point where I'm able to do that and hand it over, and for people to, you know, I hate to use the word consume, but I mean eat it. I now have an opportunity to just hand it over, and so that's what I do. I just make and I give. And I make all the time, and I don't give everything, because there are some times where it's really shit. Like,
Yeah.
I do not make good art all the time. I cannot. I don't think anybody can.
Yeah.
But the stuff that I do hand over is the stuff that I'm really proud of. So art has always just been the thing that I've been into.
Yeah, it's unrealistic to think that you're going to make great art all the time.
I used to sit, yeah, it is unrealistic, but I'm the kid that at like 21 would be like, oh, by the time, you know, the Beatles were 25, they made Abbey Road, what the fuck am I doing with my life? You know? I'm so sorry for the swearing, I'm English.
We warned you he was English, so,
Yes,
you know.
that's true, we got a ooh la la. Yeah, it is unrealistic, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that comparing oneself to the Beatles is bad in general.
That's a
It's
terrible
the
idea,
exception,
yeah.
not the
It's a
rule.
really bad idea.
So I wonder then, because obviously, like, music in the most recent season of Stranger Things played such a big role with, you know, Max and her kind of resisting Vecna. What would be your running up that hill?
Oh, I've been asked this question so much, and I stupidly said such a shit answer right at the beginning. I said Miley Cyrus, the Party, or something like that.
Great.
Party in the USA,
Party, I mean-
or something like that. So I've got to stick with that, otherwise I
Yeah.
seem schizophrenic.
You seem wishy-washy and like you can't
I'm doubling
commit to
down.
a single
Yeah.
song. Would you ever want to venture back into the world of musical theater?
If the show was right,
Yeah?
yeah. If the show was right, I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to. I have designs and hopes and dreams that at some point there might be something of my own in that world.
Okay.
That's a goal, but like, I'm 35, I've got time.
You have plenty of time.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. So have you started filming the new season of Stranger Things yet?
I couldn't possibly
You couldn't
say.
possibly say.
I can tell you we're all very excited to
Yes.
be back.
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes. Paying writers fairly, paying actors fairly.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for you know, supporting and holding on.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, great to get everybody back to work. Do you have any personal projects that you are working on right now that you're ready to release into the world?
Yeah, I have two that I can talk about. One that I'm in process on that I can't really talk about. I have Kevin Costner's Horizon, which is coming out in summer of next year. That's a Western. Yeah, woo indeed. It's so good. I've seen 10 minutes of it. Again, I cried, but you know, I said I cried earlier, so yeah, who knows?
Yeah, did you cry when you saw the design of Vecna the first time? Were you
No,
like,
I
really?
didn't. I said I'm in love. And it's on camera. It's on camera. So I've got that's coming out, which is an amazing thing to be a part of with an incredible cast. Kevin's directed, it's so sick, and obviously he stars in it as well. And then I just finished working on a film, I literally just did ADR on it like 2 days ago with Chuck Russell. He directed The Mask and Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warrior, which is the third one.
Oh, and is my personal favorite.
Right, it's the one that
I
kind of brought the whole
love
thing back
Dream
to life.
Warriors, yes.
Right. Chuck's amazing. We did a film called Witchboard.
Yes.
It's so sick.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good. And, you know, we're an independent film. And I'm trying not to put my fingers too much in it in terms of like wanting things. I just hope everyone can see it. Like, I just want it to have its moment because it's so fun and it's just everything I love about going to the movies.
Does it have as epic of a theme song as Dream Warriors?
Not yet. Not yet.
Well, you could do it.
Don't say that. I'll be blowing up Chuck's email like within the next 48 hours, bless him. He doesn't need that from me.
Yeah, Dream Warriors made me think of it. I made a Halloween playlist this year, which it was on. Also, Killer Clowns from Outer Space has a great theme song. Do you have any like movie themes that stand out in your head as stuff that you like to jam to?
I mean, I don't know if he's here at the panel or they're here at the panel, but there's a person dressed as the Crow from the Crow
Oh,
movie.
amazing, yes.
And that obviously had the most incredible soundtrack.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that Cure song that's on there is ridiculous. I don't know, maybe Tubular Bells from The Exorcist
yes.
as well. That's pretty sick.
I grew up listening to Mike Oldfield. My dad is a massive Mike Oldfield fan, and so for me, all these people are terrified of the song Tubular Bells, and I'm like, what, it's just like a Mike Oldfield song, having no concept of the fact that it is like the theme from The Exorcist until I was much older.
Nothing good is happening when you hear that song.
No,
You know.
I know. I don't know, I liked the vibes.
Nice, the spooky vibes.
Yeah, the spooky vibes. It probably explains a lot about who I am as a human being.
I love that for you. That's lovely.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Well, I love it for you that you know you.
So Gen Z,
Yes,
look
so
at us
Gen Z,
go.
and I love
Check this out.
Check this out.
Slay.
Not firmly elder millennial.
Agreed.
But no, it's like I think that you know the way that you hold the character of Henry very dear, and also Vecna, you know that just speaks to really what makes a great villain is they have to have that humanity.
Hey, look, I like enough of me being an actor now. This
Yes.
is me like being a fan. I love this shit.
Yeah.
I love this stuff so much, and when you get given an opportunity like that, you have well, you do. You have a choice not to, but like you'd be an idiot. Yeah, I had no choice but to fully immerse myself in it, to do it justice to the creative team behind a show that I love. And like you, I like spooky stuff. I spent so much time studying all of it because I love it. And you know, I'm glad that translated. Thank you for the praise, I guess. Again, English, bad at taking that. But it only comes from a place of just wanting to make something that I would want to see.
Well, Jamie, I believe that is all the time that we have for today. But you're around here during the day today, right?
I'm here. I'm going to be taking pictures with some of you. I'll be at the autograph table. You know, I might come out and buy some Christmas presents for family.
Yeah, great opportunity to go shopping, support local artists. And, thank you to Jamie again, and thank you to all of you for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Enjoy the rest of your time.
We're taking these
on the floor.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye.